Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and I'm excited to start this new challenge with everybody. It's Monday. Don't know where you are and what time it is. Let me know in the chat. We got lots of people jumping in the chat. We have Stephen James Ward, we have Tiago and Christina and Milland S and Arush C. Everyone's saying hello. Let me also know where you're coming from and maybe even throw in your favorite emoji because I'm an emoji kind of guy. Sam Peterson is in there moderating the chat. Say a big thank you to him. He's saying hello to me as well. I had a good weekend. Did you guys have a good weekend? And it's always good to be refreshed and then come in Monday morning for the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. So you can learn about XD, so you can sharpen your skills, so you can have some fun, meet some people in the chat. And that's what we're doing. That's what the XD Daily Creative Challenge is all about. We got people like Michael coming from Florida. We have Tiago coming from Canada, people from Scotland and LA, St. Louis, Missouri, and Pasadena, and over there in Germany as well with Pedro. So hello to everybody. Love seeing those emojis. Love seeing those hellos and all of your locations. Super duper cool. If you're watching this on YouTube, jump over to Behance so you can actually engage not just in YouTube, because we're not actually really talking there. We're talking over on Behance Live. So come over to Behance, hit that little live tab, join me here, sign in, start chatting, and let's hang out. Well, let's talk really quickly about what the Adobe, wow, it is Monday. The Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge actually is. I'm going to jump over to my screen. So the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge is a place where you can each day you will receive a challenge and then you're going to join the community chat. You're going to watch the daily live show. That's this live show right now. And then finally, we will be able to share your work on Behance. There's a total of 9 challenges. We're going to be starting our first challenge today. And if you scroll down, you can see each morning the challenges will unlock for you. So tomorrow morning, the July 7th, 2020 challenge will unlock. Inside of each of those challenges, you'll be able to click on them. You're going to get a starting file. You're going to be able to design along with me, ask me questions, interact with me, and open up Adobe XD. There's also a little tab up top of this chat where if you don't have Adobe XD, go ahead and register for the Daily Creative Challenge. Head over to the info tab, grab Adobe XD, download it to get started. This is going to be a great challenge or a great experience for you. If you've never used XD before, or maybe you're an XD expert, you just want to keep harvesting, honing in on those skills, maybe working on the way that you use words correctly, because I know I always need help with that. So that's what the Daily Creative Challenge is. You want to hit that big Creative Challenge button right there that should say sign up for the challenge or chat with the community. That's going to be our next part. If you want to get started, make sure that you sign up for our Discord channel. That's the XD Discord channel. It's at bit.ly/XD Discord. That's the URL you want to go to. And if you do that, you're going to be able to log in and join the XD Discord server. It has over 35 or 36,000 creatives in it. This is a place where you can share your work. Like for instance, we have Mandy from the current challenge, which is actually the previous challenge because we haven't started anything yet, but we'll be able to look at your work and check it out. Each day you'll be able to submit your work here or on Behance, and we're going to be reviewing some of the work and giving feedback. You'll be able to talk with me in an interactive way. Just so you know what we're trying to accomplish today, because there is no challenge, is just tell you how things work, tell you a little bit about me, maybe go over to Behance and maybe check out a little bit of XD and tell you how the whole thing could or should flow. So Sam Peterson is posting some links right there in the chat right now to the Behance sign up page, and then also to the Discord, so you can sign up there as well. Also, I'll be hanging out in this Discord after each stream. So if you have questions, not only can you ask them here in the chat, like for instance, anybody have any questions about XD, about design, about the industry, about career stuff? That's what we're here for. Also over in XD, you have some amazing mentors. They would love to answer those questions as well. That's a thing. Hey, if you're wondering who the heck am I and why would I answer your questions, my name is Jesse Showalter. I'm a digital designer. I've been in the industry a little bit over a decade, maybe 11 or 12 years, and I have a YouTube channel. where I teach about design and development and career stuff and freelancing and things I like to do and apps I like to use and just, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Actually, this last video that I just posted is all about designing a bookmark app user interface inside of Adobe XD. And I'm going to be posting another one because I like me some XD. You can also find stuff about me over on Instagram, just Instagram/IamJesseShow. That's me. With all that being said, let's stop talking about me. Let's start talking about Adobe XD. I have Adobe XD open. You can't get this file. This is just a file I worked on recently for funsies. It was a Mother's Day application. So let's do a Mother's Day website. Let's do a little, like just a quick tour, maybe like a 5 or 10 minuter. Let's talk about some basic features and maybe even some advanced features, okay? Because we still got people coming in the chat. We have people from Australia like Gail, and we have people who are saying, what's up, like Raphael. And Cornell says, do I design only in XD? No, I like to use great tools. XD just happens to be a fantastic tool. That's all I'm saying. So let's talk a little bit about XD. If you've never used XD before, if you're an expert, you're like, I don't want to do this basic tour. We might talk about some new features because there's been some new updates like scroll groups. There's been some new updates like a few months ago, like component states that are really, really fun. It will absolutely blow your mind what you can do with XD. For instance, on my screen right here, I have a little Mother's Day website that we whipped up for fun, and it's just got like kind of an interesting kind of like hero section. Let's close our little mega menu at the top, and you scroll down, you got some specials, a little Instagram feed, and a big mega footer as well. But we do have, if you see over in my layers panel, that's this thing on the left, just like in any other Adobe program in the suite. I have all of my layers over here on the left. I have my tools over here on the very left, like shapes, circles, ellipses, triangles, polygons, lines. We got a pen tool, we got text, we got artboards, we got zoom, all that kind of stuff. But down at the very bottom, now we're talking about some really cool stuff. Let me get out of your way so you can see it. We also have not only the layers, but we have components, which we'll talk about. Okay. And then we also have a place where you can use and find lots of amazing plugins. Throughout the series, throughout this challenge, I'm going to be sharing with you workflow tips, favorite plugins of mine, things that I love to do. And if you have any questions, please feel free. Go ahead and just ask me anything. I like to interact. I like to engage. Like for instance, right before I started this, because it's Monday morning, I had some unsweetened iced tea. What's your favorite cold drink during this hot summer? Because it is hot where I'm at. You let me know in the chat. Tell me what kind of cold drink you enjoy on a day like today. Okay, so we have our layers, our tools, all our stuff at the top. On the left-hand side, at the top, we have something really, really cool. It's unique in Adobe XD, which is we have our design kind of area we're at currently. We also have a prototype area and we have a sharing area. We're gonna get into all of that, but this is a really great workflow. I wanna design, prototype, send that thing out, get some interaction with people, get some feedback, get some user testing, all that kind of good stuff. Maybe even handoff for development. I know that's a pretty hot topic people want to talk about. We're going to talk all about that stuff during this challenge. It's going to be really, really fun. Over on the right-hand side, you have some options like to view your prototype, to see it on a mobile device, to share and invite people to the document, to collaborate. We also have your alignment tools, some really cool stuff. If you've never used Repeat Grid, it's gonna blow your mind when you start repeating grids of stuff. And then this is a contextual panel on the right-hand side. So depending on what you click on, you'll get different results. Like for instance, right now, I'm getting measurements and responsive resizing, but if I click on some typography, I'm gonna get my typography options. That's amazing. So, Leda Bermudez says, good old lemonade. That's a good one. Root beer, I like it. Iced latte defo. I don't know what defo is. I'm not sure what that word is. Cold coconut water. I like coconut water as well. That's amazing. So, those are great cold drinks on a hot summer day. So let's do a little something really quickly inside of Adobe XD, shall we? Let's have a little bit of fun. We have a little bit of time. Like I said, we have our layers panel, and if I zoom in, you can see that I have my navigation, but I have hidden, by hitting that little eyeball there, I've hidden my MegaMenu. I would like to prototype a little interaction here with my MegaMenu. I want to see this thing slide up and away, and then back down. How do I do that? Well, the old school way you used to do that was, we would duplicate this artboard, we'd move this thing around, and then we would prototype back and forth. If that's your vibe, if that's your thing, hey, you do you. I'm gonna do me. I'm not gonna do this because now we have something that's really awesome called component states. Let me zoom back in. Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. So I wanna use this menu and this drop-down mega menu like navigation in lots of different places, okay? So if that's the case, let's say that later on I have a mega menu over here and I want to change something inside of it or change the styling of it. Maybe I want to change the color of this little colored strip down the left-hand side, this little kind of mauve pink strip down the side. I don't want to do that. Doing it in one artboard is not so bad, but what about when this design scales and I have 50 artboards? That's really gonna chap the khakis, as some might say. I don't wanna have to make that little update everywhere. So what would I do? Well, first off, I'd delete this thing. Second off, I would grab my mega menu and I would press Command or Control K, depending on what operating system you're on, and I would make a component out of this thing. Now, when I go down to my component menu, you can see I have a mega menu right there, right? I can drag out new versions of that mega menu, and then in my master component, which is the original one, if I want to change it to be like maybe a dark pink, it's gonna change everywhere across the board, across my entire scaled design with 50, 100, 200 artboards. It's gonna do all of that, okay? Sam Peterson said, solid saying. I'm guessing it was the chap the khakis saying? That's the one. But also Michelle Roberts is saying yes to cold brew coffee. There is no time ever for you to say no to cold brew coffee, except if you get shaky easily. Cold brew, nitro cold brew may not be the thing for you. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, let's bring it back to our mauve, but now we have reusable components that we can use over and over and over. That's great. Second thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my navigation up at the top. I'm gonna press Command and Control K. I'm gonna make that a component as well. Now, if you're not used to Adobe XD, or maybe you're not used to using components, you're not quite there yet, I'm about to blow your mind. Ready? I'm gonna grab both of these components, I'm gonna press Command or Control K, and I'm gonna make a nested component. Oh dang, what just happened? Let's call this nested component, I don't know, let's just call it something easy like both really quickly. Let's go into our components really quickly. We have our mega menu, we have our navigation. We're gonna rename this both just to make it really easy so that we understand. What does that mean? What does it mean? I'm gonna pull out a copy, a version of both. This means that now both of those components have been placed into a new one, and it is gonna honor everything that's done recursively from all the original components. Let me say that in a simpler way. You mess with the mega menu component, not only is it going to reflect in the mega menus, but any nested components as well. Want to bet? Want to check it out? Here we go. Let's take our fill there. Let's move it to a light blue like that. And look, it moves everywhere. It changes everywhere. So now we have a mega menu and a navigation all put into one component. Why did I do that? Because now I'm going to use component states to animate this little menu back and forth, and I don't need a second artboard. That means I can do whatever I want with this, and I can place the same nested component everywhere. It's always gonna have the same interaction no matter what. Are you ready? Let's go with me. Let's do this thing together. Go back to my layers. I'm gonna grab my both component here, make sure it's selected. Up in the right-hand corner, you're gonna see the component master symbol right there, okay? If I was to have an instance of this component, let's drag that thing out. Okay, now you'll see the word instance mentioned and not the word master. If I ever want to change the master and not the instance, well, then I just want to right click on it and say edit master component. Whoop, it's going to take me right to the master component. Or as my man Howard Pinsky would say, boop. It would take me right there, boop. Okay, Sam Peterson's making a good reminder. Make sure you guys are registering for the challenge. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope you guys stick around and join me each and every day because we're gonna be doing stuff like this and more. Let's see, Paul Ratchford asked a great question. He says, how much are you thinking about development when you're designing? That's a great question. That's actually kind of a subjective question. How much are you thinking about development when you're designing? I'll tell you right now, there's no right or wrong answer, but I will say the more you're thinking about development, if you're designing digital products, the better you're actually designing. The more you're thinking about dev, the better you're thinking about design. That's all I'm saying. Here's why. because you could design something insane and ridiculous and amazing, and it zips and zaps and animates everywhere, and then you hand it off to your developer and he or she says, holy cow, what have you just done to me? I have to get this thing to market. I got to push this thing live. You want me to do all this zipping and zapping and Howard Pinsky booping? This is insanity. So with that, you could be a little bit more considerate. You can think about the most efficient ways. So I would say learn a little code. Like, just do a little bit of studying, figure out what's possible in your medium, and you'll be a better digital designer for it, all right? Okay, let's make this interaction happen. We have our both selected, and you can see we have a default state placed there, right? Let's create another state. We're gonna create a new state, not a hover state, but a new state. But before we do that, we know that we are gonna grab, if we go into our prototypes area, we know that we're gonna grab a specific piece of it. If that's cool with you, you can do that. You can also create, like what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna take this thing, I'm gonna hit a rectangle inside and just draw a new, excuse me, let's go back to our design space, and I'm just gonna draw a rectangle inside. I'm gonna bring the transparency of it down. I'm just gonna call this thing tap. I want like a transparent tap area, so the whole thing is tappable, okay? Let's zoom in on this project a little bit. Let's make that tappable area really big, okay? And my tappable area is always just gonna stay put. It's gonna stay right where it is. So with that said, now I'm gonna come back to my default state, and I'm gonna click up the little plus button. I'm gonna hit new state, okay? Let's call this one on. Let's call this one on, okay? And then our default state will be the off state, okay? So we have default state and we have the on state. So let's take our default state. I'm gonna come in with default state selected. I'm gonna take my mega menu. It's in the layer underneath. I'm just gonna move it up and I'm gonna bring my opacity down. Tracking with me so far? Okay, now I'm selecting here. I'm gonna go to the on state and I'm gonna move it back. I'm gonna go mega menu, come to life, and I'm gonna start just nudging it down and I'm gonna put it in place. Okay, so as soon as I made a change to one of the other states, it updates, or excuse me, I make a change to the default state, it's gonna update everywhere. Okay, so now we see as I default state is off, and now we have a new on state. Okay, and I'm doing all this so I don't have to have any extra artboards. So now let's prototype, shall we? I'm just gonna make sure I have my default state selected. I'm gonna go to prototype. I'm gonna select my tap, my invisible tappable area. And I'm not gonna grab this and link this somewhere. I'm just going to tap it, okay? And now you can see it's going somewhere. Where is it going? On tap. I want to auto animate. And I want to go, you can either choose a state or a layer. In our case, we're gonna choose the state called on. Okay, it's gonna ease in, ease out, or excuse me, just ease out in 3 seconds. That's our easing type, okay? Now, we're gonna make sure that we go back and we're gonna select our on state. We have to do our interaction there as well. Do the same thing. Let's go back to the default state. I wonder what this looks like. Let's press play, okay? And we can turn it on and off. And what's so cool about this is, as I zoom out, I can create multiple other artboards, and each of those artboards has that component inside of it that's doing the same thing. It doesn't matter what I do with the rest of my design. Maybe I want to delete this and I want to unlock this flower thing and I wanted to do something different. Or maybe we wanted to go full page over here like that. Well, that's fine. We can do all of that because now our component is still the same. It's consistent everywhere we go, which is absolutely rad. Okay, so this is just the kind of stuff that we're gonna be covering in the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. We're gonna be having fun, learning some different ways to do stuff, techniques, fun things, plugins. We're gonna be building a lot of cool stuff, which you and I will be able to post after we're done on our Behance. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about Behance. And again, if you have more questions, please put them in the chat. I'll try to grab them and answer them as I go. Like for instance, Laura says, can you do this with more than one item? For example, for carousel hero images? Absolutely. Where there's a will, there is a way. You can do lots of different things, and especially carousels will be really great with the new scroll group feature that's just come out. We have vertical, horizontal, and both, so you can just move things around anywhere. Really, really good. Caroline says, cool, hi, I love it about thinking and knowing about dev. I used to be in development. Hey, I do front-end development and I do design. I think it's a benefit. It's really, really fun, really, really cool. If anything, like I said, it just helps you to be a responsible, considerate designer and be a good team player, because that's almost as important as being a good designer and being a good creative is being a good team player. So think about being a good team player. All right, we're gonna jump over to the web, and now that we have our, let's see, our design made, let's talk a little bit about Behance. If you go over and jump to your own profile, I'm gonna jump over to mine. I only got a couple projects there. When I jump to my project, you can edit your portfolio or your projects here any way you want. You can just drag them around and reorder them. But throughout this series or throughout this challenge, the 9 challenges that you do can either be individual posts, or a lot of people will actually slam them all together and just keep adding to one. They'll label it my creative challenge work from this date to this date, and we'll see day 1 will have your work, day 2 will have your work. If you've never made a Behance project, let's talk about it a little bit. Let me answer a few questions, and then we'll talk about how to make a Behance project and how to get things going, okay? Let's see, Pedro says, it's my first daily creative challenge. I'm excited. Pedro, you should be. It's super duper fun, and it's especially fun because after you're done doing the work, you can post it here on Behance, and you can use the hashtag XD Daily Challenge. I think that's the right hashtag. Sam Peterson's probably gonna correct me, but you can also post it in the Discord, and I'll be able to look at stuff each day. Hopefully I'll be able to look at your work. That'd be really, really fun. Steven says, really great tutorial. We'll need to get learning. Also love your YouTube channel, Jesse. Aw, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, cool. Oh, Edith says, any great resources to start learning about development? Ooh, that's great. I have a YouTube channel. I talk about some stuff there. Plug. Sorry. No, I think that there's enough great content out there that, ooh, you know what? Hold on. I have one in my mind. If you want to learn, what's his name? If you want to learn front-end development, I would encourage you to look at learn.shayhow.com. I don't know him, but he has great resources here where you can learn about HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It's really, really good stuff. You can do all of it here. If you don't want to do that, just look at YouTube, read some blogs, start getting in the nitty gritty, open up a text editor and try some stuff out. I think you'll learn a lot there if you're doing that. Am I coding in Flutter? No, I'm sorry, I'm not coding in Flutter. I apologize, that's not my jam right now. But with that being said, things that are my jam, Behance projects are my jam. So we have a couple more minutes. Let's talk about how to make a Behance project. You can be right here on your Behance profile. Side note, if you are a Creative Cloud user, which I am, you could take your work here on Behance and click right here and create a portfolio straight from your Behance. It literally takes all of your work, sends it out to a beautiful portfolio, lets you customize it. It's pretty beautiful. You should try it out if you don't have a portfolio online. It's pretty great. So let's create a portfolio, or excuse me, a Behance project. We're gonna go up and hit this beautiful blue button that says create a project, and it's gonna give you a nice blank page. There's lots of different building blocks that you can put into a Behance project. You can put images, text, photo grids, video and audio. You can embed your XD prototypes right in here so people can actually play with them and experience them. That's mind-blowing. We can export GIFs now out of Adobe XD. You can put GIFs inside of here, rearrange everything, photo grids, super duper fun. So let's start building a project. I have a shot on my desktop over there, and so let's put the text of it. Chocolate bar wrapper. I'm gonna do something like that because that's what it is. I just designed something for fun. I'm gonna click on this text. I'm gonna make it a header. I'm gonna center align it, and maybe I'll use something. Maybe not that. Maybe we'll stick with Arial. Actually, let's go Arial black, and let's make this thing a bit bigger. All right, let's bump up the size. So you don't have to put text here. Everything you do can just be imagery and stitch it all together like that. So that's pretty cool. But for me, this works. So with that said, I also want to add an image. So I'm going to tap the image right there, go to my desktop. I'm going to grab my chocolate bar. I'm going to drop it right there into my Behance project. It's uploading, and it goes pretty quick. Okay. So, and as soon as it's uploaded, we could add more things. I can add process here. I can add, prototypes. I can add more mock-ups. I can add anything and everything I want, but this is working pretty good for me right now. If I want to, I can hit the little pencil in the top left-hand corner of the image or the text. I can reorder the project, caption it, replace the image, delete images. Let's look at reorder. All it is a little sorter. So I'm just going to grab things. You can move those around if you want. I like mine how it is. And maybe maybe this is all I want. Maybe I just want to throw my piece of work up here really quickly and let that be the day. Let that be the thing. You can do that. When I'm done here, I can change styles. So I can change the background color of the entire thing if I want to. So I could move that to black. I could grab the color of the background for my actual project. Let me take the little hashtag out of there. And let's see if I can get this to work. I don't know why it's not working. Let's go find kind of a purple. We could get close. Let's say it's something like that, okay? And then we can change the content spacing of things. So we have consistent padding and spacing anywhere we go. Why can't I get... Let's do that. Well, that works, okay? We can come back up into our text, and we also should be able to change the color to this, right? Well, that's fine if we can't. But let's edit the text. I don't like the way I did it. Let's go subheader. Let's go center like that. And this is me just playing with things now too much, probably. Let's go back to styles. Let's just go back to white because that worked well for us. And then there you go. You do it however you want to do it. Spend some time. But that's the thing you can do. You can add some space to things next to it or keep the image full width. But that's good. So far, we're going to continue. And then we just give it a name like chocolate bar wrapper. And then after that, I'm just going to put concept because this was just a concept. And I'm really bad at spelling. Add some tags like graphic design, I don't know, anything you think works there. What software was used? I think I used Photoshop. So how about Adobe Photoshop right there? Let's just put graphic design as one of the skills that were used for this. And then let's publish this bad boy. We're going to publish it. Behance is going to give us the opportunity to share it. Do we want to promote our work on social media? There it is. And then we go back to my profile. You can see there it is. There's my work. And I put it in order the way that I want to. All right. So a couple portfolio things, since we have 0 minutes left, I'll give you some portfolio tips, but I don't have time. So make sure again that you are signing up for Discord right here at this URL. It's also posted in the chat and in the info tab of the chat. And also this is the schedule. Lots of good content before me each day on Adobe or on Behance. And then also we got some great content coming after. Doodle Therapy with Alice Lee is coming up next. And make sure that you sign up for the challenge. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. I hope you're enjoying those nice, delicious cold drinks on a hot Monday. I hope you're signing up for the challenge and you'll meet me here tomorrow for challenge number 1. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some cool stuff. Thanks for joining me. You guys are the best. I can't wait to hang out with you in Behance. And so until I see you tomorrow, take it easy.